level at which these children go, to get themselves into the use of different substances, and this is a problem. And we know that as parents, okay, we want the best for our kids. Yes, we want to look out for them, but it is also very important that we know our role and how we can help them, to stop abusing drugs. Is what we shall be looking at today on the program Your Health. By the way, my name is Blessing Oti. Let me remind you that you can watch this program on Star Times Channel 103 or follow us on all our social media handle, YouTube and Facebook, NCAPH Channel 10. That's what you look at for. You also know that Your Health is interactive. At the point in time, we'll let the phone line open so that you can be part of the conversation by calling in to make your contribution or to ask a question. But right now, joining me on set to look at parenting, a gateway to drug abuse prevention, I have Farm Ikpo Ignatius. He is the Secretary, Publicity and Advocacy Subcommittee, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, River State. We're glad to have you join us, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. Glad to be here.
How are you doing, sir?
Very well, ma'am.
How's the day been for you?
Great.
Before you came here. All right, so we're talking about parenting, a gateway to drug abuse prevention. We know that drug abuse is very, very prevalent right now in our schools. Everywhere we find ourselves, you can imagine, as early as 11, 12, 14, 16, as the case may be, are beginning to use substance. But before we get into all of this conversation, let's get to understand first. When we talk about drug abuse, what is it about? Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, viewers. Drug abuse can be termed as when drugs are taken by individuals without prescriptions from a medical personnel. That could be said to be the general layman's definition. When drugs are taken without prescriptions from a medical personnel, drugs can said to have been abused by that connotations. Okay. It can equally go wide when drugs are being taken for purposes originally not intended for its prescribed medical use.
All right, thank you for giving us that clarification on what drug abuse is all about. Now, back to our topic, which is parenting, a gateway to drug abuse prevention. First thing first, let's look at some of the common factors that could actually cause a teen to be vulnerable to drug abuse. What are some of those factors that could actually lead teenagers to be vulnerable to drug abuse?
Now, a number of factors has been noted to be highly responsible when teenagers are drawn into the use of drugs, which we can call drug abuse. The factors are many. One of them could be termed as what? Lack of poor parenting. Okay? When the parents are probably not well enlightened about the use of some of those medications, talking about educations. Because if the parents are well informed about the use and some of those things, then they will equally impart such knowledge on the child. And that goes to say that they said, catch them young. The Bible says that train a child in the right directions and he will not depart from it. So talking about proper educations, informations from the part of the parents and being able to disseminate same information to the child. Another one could be impact of peer pressure on a child, due to exposure to this other classes of individuals in the societies. We go to schools, we go to churches, we meet a number of individuals. There are some persons within the society who can impart negative influences by introducing the children curiosity, making the child want to explore some of the use of such kind of substances. Another factor could be pressure. Let me just use the word pressure from the parents, unnecessarily high expectations from some of our children. You may see, probably, that I could have a little boy child around me. He scored about 270 in JAMB, but he could not really get in for medicine. And then the parents were like, no, you ought to, you could have. So, and they were like putting pressure on such a child. Fine, it's a positive influence. But if probably geared towards the negative direction, such a child, if not properly guided, may tend to try to use of some substances which may, stimulate him either to be awake, study more, and which is part of the drug abuse the society may be talking about.
Okay, we also know that drug abuse do not only affect the society, so to speak, but it also have an effect on the abuser itself, as in the individual, whether a teen or an adult who is into it. Now, let's take us through some of those substances that are commonly abused, okay, that we can say that, yes, when you get yourself indulged in this, you have, abused drugs.
A number of substances, some of them could be purchased
over the counter?
Not necessarily over the counter, because many of them are, prescriptions only medications, drugs, okay? But there are some of them, something like the cough syrups, the codeine-containing cough syrup, the codeine, which is meant to be a cough suppressant, but invariably people have discovered its, effect on, and then people are now always motivated in the name of taking cough suppressants. They will not be looking at those that contains the codeine composition. These are some of those drugs which are, subject to abuse. Now there are other ones. Let me just say the tramadol itself, which is basically a controlled drug, which can be gotten only with the use of a doctor's prescription from a pharmacy. But for the fact that we have a lot of open drugs market in our system, some people, can easily walk into any chemist, in quotes, and then obtain such drugs at tramadol. These are basically some of those ones that can be gotten within our environment.
Okay, since we're talking prevention here, let's find out from you, how can actually parents build a stronger relationship, stronger open relationship with their kids to prevent this substance abuse?
Now, we know that the first persons, apart from the nurses anyway, we usually come in contact with at birth is usually the mother at birth. And we know that the mother breastfeeds the child. And of course, there is,
a connection.
Yes, there's a component in the breast milk called colostrum, which is a very, very it's rich in antibiotics that protects the child, a baby. And that's why we encourage, breastfeeding, because the baby's immune system will be, built up in order to fight all kinds of diseases. Now, bringing it down also, we will know that the mother or the parent should act as the first point of defense for the child, before the child comes in contact with even the society, in terms of where the religious background, even in terms of the education, the educational institutions they attend. So the mother should see, or the parents would see ourselves as the first wall of defense to be built around the child in terms of providing education and information regarding the dangerous effects of drug abuse and misuse. So the parents, ab initio, should be the first point of what, the first point of call that a child will need to be in contact in order to have that basic information about the dangers and the ills of drug abuse and misuse.
Okay, yes, we're talking drug abuse, but this also, it's in line with every other thing that a child is exposed to.
Yeah.
The parents should build a word of, like a guide, serve as a guide, protecting the kids from, getting themselves in certain vices that might not, be very helpful to them and the society at large. Well, on that note, we go on this very short break. When we come back, we'll be talking some more with pharmacist Ikpo Ignatius. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We shall be talking about turmeric. This century-old vibrant yellow spice is not only a great addition to your favorite dishes, but it's also packed with numerous health benefits. Turmeric is derived from the Curcuma longa plant, and it's commonly used in cooking and traditional medicine, from adding flavor and color to soups, stews, and vegetable dishes, to being used in cosmetic products like face masks, creams, and ointments. Turmeric is a versatile spice that can be used in different ways. Turmeric contains two key components, curcumin and volatile oils. Turmeric supplements come in various forms, including capsules, powders, tablets, and curcumin supplements. These supplements can be used to support overall health and wellness, particularly in areas like cardiovascular health, digestive health, immune system support, and anti-inflammatory effects. Turmeric's curcumin content may also help reduce inflammation in the cardiovascular system and improve blood flow, reducing the risk of heart disease. It also helps relieve symptoms of bloating, gas, and indigestion, while supporting gut health and reducing inflammation in the digestive tract. Additionally, turmeric's curcumin content helps boost the immune system function and fights off infections and diseases, reducing the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. Turmeric's anti-inflammatory effects also relieve pain and inflammation in joints and muscles, alleviating conditions like arthritis. Precautions. Turmeric may increase the risk of bleeding when taken with blood thinners and may lower blood sugar levels when taken with diabetes medication. High doses may also cause stomach upset or allergic reactions, and pregnant women should consult a healthcare professional before using turmeric supplements. It is also crucial to choose high-quality turmeric supplements and regularly monitor your health. In conclusion, turmeric is a versatile spice with potential health benefits, but it's essential to consume in moderation and consult with healthcare professionals if you have specific concerns before making changes to your diet.
That you're still there. Well, the program is Your Health, and we're coming to you live from the studio of NTA Port Harcourt. And today we're talking parenting, a gateway to drug abuse and prevention. And of course, you know that parents, as parents, will play a critical role when we talk about substance abuse amongst our teen. And so today we're talking about what role should the parents, play actually, if we must get it right in the fight against drug abuse in our society, bearing in mind that it not only affects the child's health, it also affects the society and people around where the child is found. And of course, we still have pharmacist Ikpo Ignatius right here with us. Before we went on that break, he has talked about, different things, what substances are abused and all of that. But right now, I'll quickly open the phone line so that you can be part of the conversation. In case you want to call in to ask a question, feel free to call 0707-220-0667 or 0911-518-0063. You know how we do it. Once you call, ensure you turn down the volume of your TV set. That way we could have and hear whatever question you have to ask my guest, or send SMS only to 0904-647-3545. These are the numbers. Or you could also go to our social media handle. Please leave us your comment, leave us your question, and be rest assured we'll attend to them right here on the platform. But let's get back to our conversation before we get the calls keep coming. All right, now let me go back to you. We're talking parents, that parents have a key role to play when we talk about drug abuse and prevention. And so I want to find out, now that we're talking about, parents playing a very crucial role in this, what are some of those signs parents could readily look out for to know that, yes, my child, my daughter, my son, or the person around me is beginning to use, or abuse substance?
Thank you very much. Now, for a child, when he or she begins to be taking drugs, illicit drugs, we will find out that as a parent, we will be watchful of the academic performance of our child. When we see that, a child, a high-flying child initially, has suddenly started dropping in his or her academic performances, then it's something that a parent should ask, why is this what happening? When equally also we notice that our kids, our children, you start seeing their eyes red, and then you just suddenly notice that the child is always having eye drops, vision clearing eye, in or around his or her room. They usually use it to, brighten up their eyes.
Okay.
They are red flags. When we see our kids always demanding or licking tom-tom, yes, always trying to mask the odor, whatever taste or odor that may be coming out from their mouth after taking some of those things, it's a red flag. And when we probably see our children or any of our kids, always looking unkempt, starts to lose interest, taking proper care of himself, his or her looks, the clothes he or she wears, looking tardy, not taking care of the fingers, tips or stuff like that, they are signs that we as parents, should be watching out for. And then there are, a recent form of drugs which, I read that when some of these, maybe they lick it, you see their tongue, having the blue list. Yeah. So these are some signs, as parents, we should be on the lookout for. The moment we notice any of these signs in any of our children, of course, some of them may always want to spray deodorants in around their room. For those of them who might be indulged in taking some of this smoke inside their homes, inside their rooms, so these are signs parents should be on the lookout for. And when we notice such, it's a red flag, and then we should call them and then talk to them.
That is important. What strategy should we use? Because that when a child is already, getting himself into something that that is going to be disastrous, sometimes some will come in, will come defensive to protect themselves. What strategies can we use to, get out this information from the kids, and also, try to see how we can help them as quickly as possible?
We cannot overrule the importance of open communications with our children.
For the one that has been established, because some people live like enemies already. Some families, they are like at war at home, So when you have that kind of family that they are almost tearing apart? How do you, manage the situation?
Like we said, it is always best, to prevent than to. But in any case, whereby we already have that such a case has been established, within the child, there are a lot of rehabilitation homes that, even there's one that the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria has in conjunction with I think one of the, maybe there's a church, a religious body that they have, whereby they have like a home, a home where we have counselors, even amongst the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, the PSN DSAC committee. There is a committee that deals along in counseling, so that for those who are already, involved in the act, we do not discriminate against them. We do not stigmatize against them. Rather, we bring them in, we talk to them with love, and then we initiate proper modes of rehabilitations, which is one of the means we can use to get them back.
Okay, that's already for some who are already drug dependent now. Okay.
Yes. That's for those who are already neck deep in. But for those who are still, probably at the early stage, but we still cannot rule out the importance of what communications, because it's all about communication. Because when you talk to them, we are still able to catch them at this stage that they have not started taking those very hard or stronger ones that could, be maybe will I use the word? Yeah.
Okay, now next thing I want to talk about is the advocacy. Do you think we're doing more to sensitize, these children? Are we doing more to sensitize the public out there? And what can we do, to carry this message further than it needs to get?
We are really grateful for an opportunity like this, for inviting personnel like us, the PSN, Society of Nigeria, the Drug and Substance Abuse Reduction Committee, in conjunction with even the Rivers State Ministry of Health. They have a drug abuse reductions in the arm of their Ministry of Health, which is headed by one of our colleagues, Mrs. Fanta Roland. So she has been leading a lot of advocacy. We have had religious, like sometimes in December last year, we had secondary schools visitations amongst some local government areas in Rivers State, where we visited some secondary schools, and we had a lot of talks with the whole of the students gathered. We've equally had some sessions with some faith-based organizations during their youth weeks and stuff like that, where we had an opportunity to engage the youth in the area of youth advocacy. But we can never, have enough of it. I said we can never have enough of it. We have a partnership with some organizations also, but of course, all these things require what? Funds. The fundings are not really there. If we had more, we can still do more.
The message can still spread. I think we'll continue to take this message further, even in our community, in our space, wherever we find ourselves. We'll continue to, spread the message. In a few seconds, what will be your final message before we say our goodbye?
What we will say that parenting is what a responsibility for all of us. We should not just see our biological children as those we owe responsibility of talking to. As parents, we should always reach out those around us, even those under our care, even our house helps, even the people that we call that helps us in our daily business. They are all parts of the people we should, parent. We should parent with. And equally speaking and urging that parents should have an open line of communications with their children. Let them not see us as enemies, but as policing them. But let us be seen as what? Bridge builders, knowing that together we partner to build a better, healthier society free of what? Drugs.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to Pharmacist Ikpo Ignatius, Secretary Publicity and Advocacy Committee, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Rivers State. Thank you so much for coming on Your Health.
Thank you so much.
And of course, to you, our esteemed viewers, we can't we can't talk about this less, because it's also a big problem, and so all hands must be on deck. Parents, ensure that you take care of your wards, just so that we will have a drug-free society for all. My name, as always, is Blessing Oti. Thank you for being part of the program. Let's do it again, same time, same station next week. Bye for now.